Hey everybody, we are going to be taking our notes on the United States. Remember that you have the option to write this down and then submit a picture to me, or that you can do this digitally on the Cornell note sheet that is provided for you. Okay, so these notes are all about the United States and Canada. How large is North America? So Canada and the United States take up the bulk of North America, but remember there are other countries in North America. We're going to cover those in our next unit, Latin America. The United States is the third largest country in the world, and Canada is the second largest. Okay, what are the major bodies of water here? We have the Great Lakes. So those are Superior, Huron, Erie, Michigan, and Ontario. These are the largest freshwater lakes in the world. Those should be labeled on your Canada map. What are the important rivers in North America? Well, we've got the Mississippi River, which is a really long river and flows all the way from our great state into the Gulf of Mexico for a total of 2,350-ish miles. Okay, what are the natural resources in North America? There are a lot. There's oil, natural gas, coal, gold, silver, copper, trees. We also do a lot of farming here. And then that lumber is really important. The United States and Canada are part of something called NAFTA, NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Association, and we have that with Mexico, and we try to improve trade in North America, and that just means that we have less tariffs and quotas between our countries. Okay, trade deficit. This is something that can happen when you import or you bring more things into your country than you export. This is something that the United States is currently dealing with, where we bring in more things than we are bringing out. So the United States is divided into regions, and remember, a region can be anywhere. It just has to have something in common. These regions, for our purposes, are economic. So these are groups of states that have stuff in common, like what are they building, what are they making, what are they growing, how do they make money? So we have our northeastern states. They don't have a lot of open space or fertile soil, so they have a lot of businesses. So they're doing a lot of technology things. So this is going to be like New York. They have a lot of banking, and places like Wall Street with the stock market. And then we have the Midwest, which is where we live. We have great soil and we do a lot of farming. And there's also a lot of minerals here. So like Minnesota specifically has iron ore. We have the South, which also has great soil and warmer temperatures, so they do a lot of farming. They also have diversified a little bit and done different things recently, including textiles. So that's going to be like fabrics, electrical equipment, airplane parts. Those are big exports now. We have the interior West region, which is a lot of mining and farming, and then a lot of lumber too. Those are big industries. And then we have the Pacific region, which grows a lot of our fruits and veggies, specifically things like pineapple that just can't grow in places that are colder, and coffee. They also have lumber, which is trees, fishing, and oil industries. And each time we talk about a different continent or culture region, we're going to talk about some of the issues that they experience. So, some issues in both Canada and the United States, but specifically the United States, is something called aging infrastructure. And that means all the systems that we've built for our country to run are pretty old. So, we have old roads, so they need a lot of repair, or we need new ones. Communication systems, so all of the telephone wire that has been put out. Schools. So our school just got a multi-million dollar upgrade, but there's lots of schools with classrooms that are literally decaying or falling apart, desks that haven't been replaced in 50 years, or textbooks that are 50 years old. Hospitals. A lot of hospitals are using old technology or old equipment and it hasn't been replaced. And power plants. So right now, our power plants are making like just enough energy for everybody. But if anything goes wrong, like a couple of months ago in Texas, where they had the storm that shut down some power, it can really go badly. So those are things that we need to replace here in our country and start working towards. We also have a massive political divide right now. We have two major political parties, the Republican and Democratic Party. And at almost every level of government in our country, those are deeply divided and are not able to meet in the middle and find some common ground and solve a lot of problems. And also, as completely evident by recent events in our country, if it wasn't evident before, is a deeply ingrained culture of racism here in the United States. We have systems that were built in eras of enslavement and oppression, and those are still in place and not changing at all, or not changing quickly enough. And those are huge issues that our country is dealing with. Make sure at the end of your notes that you are writing me a 3-sentence summary before you turn this in. Make sure